We are discussing about probability. Now today we'll see the axiomatic approach to probability. So the axiomatic approach to probability is deduced from the mathematical concept laid down in the previous discussions we had. So it is based upon certain axioms. Probability, just remember 1 and 0 values are there, and there will be, all the values will be between 1 and 0. So in axiomatic approach, it is based on certain axioms. We'll see those axioms. There are 3 axioms. So in this approach, for a given sample space associated to a random experiment, the probability is considered as the function which assigns a non-negative real number, which is represented by PA, to every event A. So this non-negative real number is called the probability of that event A. So the probability, let us understand again. Probability is basically a function in axiomatic approach, and this function will be a non-negative number. It will be a non-negative number, so probability can never be negative. First thing. Second thing, it will be a real number. Okay, because if you see 1 and 0, you give 0.8. 0.8 is non-negative and it is also a real number. So PA, so we are saying we take any random experiment, there will be a sample space, and this random experiment with a sample space, we have an event which is we are calling it as A. So every event we can give a value. So this value is given by a function. So this value which is given by a function P for an event A is called the probability. Okay, let me tell you first mathematically, then we'll take the example. So I am making a sample space S, and we are saying let S be W1, W2, W3 till Wn, and this be the sample space associated to some random experiment. So then a function P which assigns every event A which is belonging to S. So function is always with the round. For example, in C, C++, sign bracket, that is a function. So every function has a round bracket. So this function which is giving for every event, and this event has to be the subset of this S sample space. Means all the elementary event which are coming in A should be in sample space. For example, W1, W2 we are taking, and we are saying that this A is an event. This is a subset of S. So for this event A, we are assigning a value which is a function PA. So function which is assigning a value, a non-negative real number value to this event PA is the probability. So what are these are 3 axioms basically. 2 we'll discuss just now. The first axiom is, for every PWI, that is all the probability values, any probability values will always be greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. Axiom 2 is saying, if you add all the events, the probability of all the events which are possible, so PW1, PW2, PW3, happening of W1, W2 like this, and these are the events and we are assigning, we just add them. Okay, so when we add them, it is going to be 1. The value will be 1. So addition of all the possible event, this probability has to be 1. There is one more axiom that we'll discuss just now, but after taking an example. So let us take an example. So let us take an example of a coin. Now, we are taking an example of tossing a coin. We are considering the example tossing a coin. So in tossing a coin, we can either have a head or a tail. So what is the sample space? Only head and tail can come. So the sample space will be head, comma, t. So this is the sample space. Only these are the possibility. So the sample space associated to this random experiment is S, which is h, comma, t. So if we assign the number half, which is actually the probability, to each of the outcomes, which is the elementary events h and t, that is probability of head is half and probability of tail is half. Probability of getting a head is half, probability of getting a tail is half. Okay? So now let us see whether these axioms or this assignment of half of value satisfy the first two axioms or not. What were the two axioms? As I said, there is one more axiom, but we are taking two axioms which are important. Okay. So PH is what? PH is coming head when we toss a coin, and the probability of tail coming is PT. So they both are between 0 and 1 because we have assigned a value half which is 0.5. So 0.5 is between 0 and 1 in both the cases. So now we can say that first axiom is true. First axiom we have proved. Okay. Now coming to the second axiom, what it is saying? It is saying when we add these two, it should come 1. So probability of H and probability of T, which has been assigned half of 1. Oh, so good. Half and half is 1. So that is when we added these two, it has come 1. So the first axiom is also satisfied and the second axiom is also satisfied when we assigned half value to H and T. Now I am just changing the game. I am giving the probability PH, that is the function probability of happening H. I am giving a value of 1 by 8. Now I am giving the value of PT, P function T, as 3 by 8. So 1 by 8 and 3 by 8, these are the values. Okay. Now 1 by 8 and 3 by 8, we have to check that whether this probability is correct or not. So first thing is 1 by 8 and 3 by 8, if you find out the value, they will be between 0 and 1. It is quite seen here. Okay. 0.25 1 by 8 will come. So this is very easy. But when we add them, PH plus PT, it has to come 1. But it is not coming 1. 1 by 8 plus 3 by 8 is 4 by 8, which is half, which is 0.5. So that means 0.5 is coming, 1 is not coming. So 1 by 8 and 3 by 8, which we assign, is not the correct probability. It is not the probability because we are assigning the wrong values. So the non-negative real number which we have assigned 1 by 8 and 3 by 8 is incorrect because the axioms are not being satisfied. Okay, there are certain more things which we need to understand. The first thing is, see, if I have or we have a sample space, we say we have W1, W2, W2, so Wn. So if S be the sample space associated to a random experiment such that all the outcomes, these elementary events W1 till Wn are equally likely to occur, that is, the chance of occurrence of each elementary event is same. That is, if you toss a coin, you know very well the probability of getting a H and T are equally likely. You cannot say that tail will only come. You cannot say head will only come. Why we assigned half in the previous case? We assigned the value of half because we know that H and T, coming of head and coming of T, is equally likely, right? So we have this half and half, 0.5, 0.5, we are saying it as PP because all the events are equally likely. We are saying all the events are equally likely, right? So this W1, W2 till Wn, all the events, the possibility of these coming is P. So PW1, PW2, PW3, all are P. So you take any one of these. PWI, you can say I is from 1 to N. So when we say PW3, it is to be P. PW4, it is P. PW10, it is P. Okay. So now this P which we are assigned has to be between 0 and 1. This is the rule of probability. So now every probability is P because they are equally likely. But if you remember, what is the axiom number 2? If we add all these probability, it has to come 1. So let us add them. PW1 plus PW2 plus PW3. All these add till PWN, and this has to come 1, right? But we know that PW1, PW2, all these probability are P because they are equally likely. For example, we saw in the head and tail. So this is P, this is P, this is P, all are P. And these are n times because there are n elements, n elementary events. So this is going to be NP, MP equals 1. So what is the probability? So probability is equal to 1 by n. So this is what you have to learn, that 1 by n is the probability when all the events are equally likely. So the sample space is head and tail. So how many numbers are there? Elementary event 2. So what is the probability of getting head? 1 by n, which is 1 by 2. Again 1 by n, which is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2, 1 by 2. If you are throwing a die, 1 till 6 can come, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can come. So the probability of getting any one of these numbers, say 3, 4, 7, any of these getting is 1 by 6, because n is how many numbers you are getting, how many numbers you have elementary event. Okay. So now we are getting the actual definition. Now whatever we have learned, this is the main key point which you need to learn. First thing is, all the question we are going to do by this only. This is the actual definition of probability. This is the actual definition. So if probability of event A happening is m by n, m are the favorable events and n are the total number of events. Okay, m favorable events and total possible event. See, in die, what is the probability of coming 3? You know 1. Total number is how many numbers are there? 6. So 1 by 6. So any of 1 is coming, or probability of getting any number is 1 by 6. But if you say even number, see, let me write it again. Sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So probability of getting an even number is 2, 4, 6. So 2, 4, 6 is the sample space. So there are 3 numbers coming. So probability is 3 are the favorable cases and 6 are the total number of cases. So say 3 by 6 is the probability of getting even number. Even for the odd number also it will be 3 by 6. So PA equals m by n. How has it come? How has it come? Let us see the proof also. Because if you learn this, all the questions of probability will be by m by n only. If you remember, I told you there are 3 axioms. So the third axiom was that for any event A, which is A belonging to the sample space, PA equal to sigma P, WK is basically belonging to A, the event. The number P, WK is called the probability of elementary event WK. W sub K basically. Okay, so what we are saying? We are adding it, sigma WK. This is the probability of event A happening. So this WK has to belong to that event A. So when we start adding it, as I said, all the probability is 1 by n because they are equally likely. They are equally likely. Say, how many are these? As I am saying that it is m times, because m are the favorable cases. M are the times when the value comes which we desire. So when we are saying that m times our favorable cases is coming, so 1 by n is the equally likely, so 1 by n, it goes up to m times. Why m times? Why m times? Because m are the favorable cases and number of times we have done is m times. So probability is m by n, because when we add them, it is m by n, and this is the value which is the actual probability. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is a die, and we say what is the probability of getting odd number? 1, 3, 5 is the set of odd number. So favorable is 3, 1, 3, 5 numbers are 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers are 6. So 3 by 6, which is half. So 0.5 is the axiomatic probability, right? Okay, now it is clear. Now please remember that probability of an event, which I am saying is m by n, will always be between 0 and 1. How to prove this? We can prove this also. If there are n elementary event associated with a random experiment and m of them are favorable to an event, then the probability of happening or occurrence of A is denoted by PA, which is defined by the ratio m by n. I am saying it is between 0 and 1. How? See, probability of A is what? M by n. We know this, we have learned this just now. So when this m by n, now m is the total number of event. M is the favorable number of event and n are the total number of event. So when we say m will be lesser to n, m will be lesser to n. So m will be between 0 and n. So the favorable cases, because the favorable cases will be the subset of the sample space only. 1, 3, 5 is 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 6. So 3 is less than 6. So this 6 will always be greater than 3. So m will always be lesser than n. And what is the probability of see, 1 m will always be greater than n will always be greater than m, because if probability of getting a single number is 1, it is m. And what is the total number? 6. So total number will always be greater or equal to the favorable cases. So m is between 0 and n. Now let us divide, and it will eventually be greater than 0 also. Now let us divide both sides by n. So it will be m by n, this is going to be 1, m by n is PA. We already seen this. So 0, it is greater than 0, probability of A less than or equal to 1. So probability of A is between 0 and 1. See, if PA is equal to 0, that means this is an impossible event. This will never happen, whatever you do. And PA equal to 1, this is the sure event. Whenever you do the experiment, this will always happen. Now this all you understood? Now I am adding one more thing. Probability of happening an event, probability of not happening an event. Probability of happening is m by n. So when m is not happening, that is m minus n is happening. So say m is the favorable case. So what are the non-favorable cases? N minus n. Because 1, 3, 5 has come, 2, 4, 6 had not come. So 6 minus 3, that is 3, 2, 4, 6. This is happening. One thing is happening, one thing is not happening. So if one thing is not happening, what will be that? The total number minus the things which are happening. So n minus m is the number of non-favorable case. So probability of not happening is number of non-favorable cases, that is n minus m divided by the total number of cases. So n minus m by n, right? So probability of A bar is equal to n minus m by n. Now how do we write it? This is n by n minus m by n. N by n is 1, m by n, and 1 minus m by n. M by n is what? Probability of A. M by n is probability of A. We already seen this. So PA bar is equal to 1 minus PA. Now just P take here, PA bar plus PA equals to 1. This means probability of happening and probability of not happening, if you add it, it is going to be 1. Right? Probability of happening and not happening is equal to 1. So whenever it is, sometimes you need to find out something is not happening to find out something is happening, and vice versa. Something is happening, not happening can be found out. Something is not happening, what is happening can be found out using this formula. Okay, these are the discussion, the theory, but we have some illustrative examples. So there are problems based on different construct, different way, different formula. So we'll take the example whenever it is required. So next time we are going to take the question on what we have learned today. Okay. So till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.